Daryl, obviously there's been some tough times and low points during your coaching spelling, but was that as an individual performance, was that as bad as anything you've seen from this side?
Yeah, I don't think we were just talking in there. I don't think we did anything that well today, to be honest. And I thought Wakefield played really well, so you give them the credit. But no, what we did during the week didn't translate to performance. It was a really poor performance. I think on every level. I think with and without the ball. I thought we started all right, but as soon as we had to defend, we were appalling and never really got a grip of the game. At the start of the second half, we showed some signs that we were gonna get back into it, but I thought then we kicked poorly at the start of the second half, and every time Wakefield had an opportunity, we looked vulnerable. We just didn't handle anything well. So that was a really poor performance. I don't make any excuses for anything in that today. I just thought it was. We had probably a couple of players playing well, but it's nowhere near enough. I thought they had a full team, really playing with a desperation and a will to win, and that's the most disappointing thing from today.
So you touched on it just briefly there, but you said during the week that you'd been sort of refreshed and infused by what you'd seen in training this week, and so probably a difficult question to answer, but what is it you think that's stopping your players from translating that into a game day at the minute?
Well, the confidence is one, isn't it? Because obviously we've lost a few games on the spin, so it's confidence. I thought they worked harder than us today. You can't. There's no excuse for that. I think that's. If you go into a rugby league field, you've got to work so hard. You've got to put everything into it. And I thought they did that to a man, and that's not coming from us at the moment. And that's an individual attitude thing. I've just spoken there that I haven't been able to leave anybody in the forward pack out for a fair while, to be honest. And there's a couple in there that I'd be leaving out, or I would have been for a few weeks now. But I haven't been able to do that. But that's. Like I say, I've no excuses for that today. I just thought it was shocking and really disappointed with what I've seen. The players got a week off, during our spare week, and we trained really well. But that performance, that's it's nowhere near the standard that we would want to be at.
So was the most disappointing aspect of that, the fact that it didn't seem to take much to rally you guys. Not much seemed to go wrong to rally you in terms of them scoring quick tries. Started the second half well, but I think give away 6 again, and then they scored another couple of tries.
Well, you've got the resilience in the team is pretty poor at the moment. I think we had 2 sets on their line and the keeper's out, and then as soon as we had an opportunity to defend our own line, it's not an opportunity, is it? It's something that's tough to do, but we folded pretty easily. I thought we did that all the way through the game. I think that's the thing for us at the moment. I spoke about resilience earlier on in the week with the teams. I think that's one of our main issues. Even I thought we should have beat St Helens. We were pretty close for large parts of the game against Wigan, but as soon as we get smacked on the nose, we're leaking a lot of blood, and we've got to be better than that.
So you've said a few times, that there are peaks and troughs in a season, and there are, right? No team goes through a whole campaign unchallenged and unscathed. Does this run go beyond the usual peaks and troughs now? Is there something more serious wrong with this side?
Well, if you're talking about effort, then some people need to look at themselves pretty long and hard. If you're talking about effort, and that sort of stuff. So I think there's some things that need to change within the team. So there are. We've lost 6 games straight now, which is ridiculous, really. But I thought we probably should have been sent to St Helens. Apart from that, I think we deserved to get beat. I thought we deserved to get beat today. We got beat at everything on the field, and then the scoreboard told its own story. Look, there's we've come from being an excellent team to being one that doesn't look like a team at the moment, and that's where we've got to have ownership from the individual players to pull this together. I think that's pretty important.
So you've had a long coaching career with a lot of highs and lows. Is this up there among the toughest periods of your coaching career, or if not the toughest?
Well, yeah, it is, because it backs up from last year, doesn't it? You know, and you know, there's a couple of things that I was asked to do when I first came into the club. Create accountability and get rid of the sense of entitlement. I thought that had a large bearing trying to do those things on what happened last season. But I feel like this season is coloured by what happened last year, and yeah, it's tough, absolutely 100%. You know, because this is the job that I always wanted, but I always felt there's some really strong things that need to be fleshed out and sorted out within the club, within the squad, and up to this point, clearly that hasn't been sorted. So yeah, it's a tough period. 100% it's a tough period, because look, as a player I was always a winner. I've always been a winner as a coach, and that'll never stop, to be honest. And so things like this hurt pretty deeply, and are tough to take.
Do you still sort of back yourself as the guy to do this job and see it through? Because I guess it's the nature of the beast with football these days, that we're going to defeat and coaches start coming under certain pressure.
Yeah, well because I do think there's been some difficult things that have happened to us this year, but you can't keep rattling on about half-backs not playing together consistently and about not having forward pack depth, which has hurt us. I do think that's hurt us. You can't keep rattling on about that when your team is not giving the effort that it needs to, and obviously when that's happening, I've never had a team that has done that before in my life, and this team's in and out of that, and that's disappointing, because I've always prided myself on consistency within a playing group, and generally my teams have been pretty consistent, but yeah, we are not consistent. Well, at the moment we're consistent in the wrong way, and that's really disappointing.
You spoke several times there, Daryl, about effort from the players, or maybe a lack of effort. You can coach players, you can coach skill, but how do you coach effort? How do you coach effort into the players, or is it something they've got to deliver themselves?
Well, yeah, I mean there is effort there, and I'm not saying it's not all our players, but we have not got 17 players giving absolute 100% effort on a weekly basis. Otherwise there's a lot of quality in the team. You just don't get beat. There's a bit more to it than that, because obviously you've got to play well, haven't you? Individual players have got to play well, and that's not happening either. And some of that is confidence, some of that is players are coming back from different injuries, but ultimately, if you haven't got effort in rugby league, then you either need to go somewhere else or stop playing the game, because that's the basis of it, isn't it? It's the basics of the game.
Sounds ridiculous when you've lost 6 in a row, but is your job as well to sort of keep the players' heads above water a little bit and remind them, still in the 6th, there's still a long way to go in the season, or do you have to address this head on for what it was today, which, as you said, was shocking?
Well, to be honest, done that. We're keeping the players. The spirit in the place is pretty good. If you've seen the players before the game, they're in a good place. The training camp's been great. The week has been great. That is not an issue, keeping the players' heads above water, but the confidence and drive to win games, I think, is an issue. I think you saw a team out there today who desperately wanted to win the game, and that wasn't us. You know what I mean? So that has to, whilst it's players' responsibility, obviously that lies with me. I have to. There are things that I go, that's my job. But there are, we had a week off. If you look at our last 2 weeks, players had a week off after we played Wigan, and that freshens you up. That should freshen you up. And then we have a full training week, where I thought that training week was perfect last week. So then the responsibility goes, everything's been done in the right way, go and do your jobs. And that didn't happen today, and that's usually disappointing for me as a head coach.
Is there a genuine fear now that, it sounds daft having won your first game, but is there a genuine fear that you could miss out on this playoffs? Is that something that could...
We've keep doing that. Yeah, if keep doing that. I mean, we've lost away to Wakefield and Cass. the both of those games for me, I thought Wakefield really good today, so I'm not making any excuses, but it's inexcusable. For us, if we're wanting to win a competition, you've got to be winning these games. Always been difficult to come here, always, 100%, always is. But that doesn't matter, does it? Because it's difficult doesn't mean to say that you can't do it. But we come and get a smack on the nose, and they say, that's it. We're in trouble. It's bullshit. It's bullshit as a rugby league team that you get smacked on the nose and you can't hold yourself together and just crack on and do your jobs. That's the basis of the game. It's a tough sport. Get on with it. That's life.
Daryl, do you still think that there is that sense of entitlement amongst people within the playgroup?
I'm not saying, because it's hard to actually say what that is, isn't it? It's hard to say what that is. What I do think is, I don't think we are enough within our group capable of taking a smack on the chin when somebody says to you, that's not good enough, sort it out or you'll be out of the team. I don't think that is accepted well enough by certain people within the team. Some people are pretty good, they're really honest dudes, they copy it, they critique themselves. Others need to be better. We need to be better because you go out there, you're judged. You are, aren't you? You're judged pretty heavily when you go out there by a lot of people who watch you, and by me as a coach. And that's part of the job, is you accept critique. You accept critique, you crack on, and you sort it out, and then that shit don't keep happening. That ultimately, that's where it's at. Because this is a man's sport. Women play it as well. But in what I do, it's a man's sport. Copy, get better, sort yourself out, do your job. You get paid to do this. Crack on, right? And the fruits are there, aren't they? You see it, And that's, we have to be better. We have to go, right, crack on. You sort yourself out. Go and play well. That's what you do. That's what we all do. Work harder on your game, and then we all end up in a better position.
You mentioned, you would like to move players out of the team based on performances, but you don't have the option, particularly the pack.
Yeah, the middle, yeah. I mean, edges, we've got a little bit more flexibility because we've got players there that can slot in and play on our edges. Middles, that's going to change a little bit over the next couple of weeks. But up to now, it's been almost impossible. I would 100% have been leaving at least 2 players out of that middle unit if I'd have had the ability to do it, but I haven't had the ability to do it.
You just, on that, is it safe to assume you're a bit more confident about getting people in before the deadline to build that competition?
Yeah, I think we'll get one more player in. We've signed Jody Crowder, we've got Jimmy Harrison back against Leeds, so then it starts to look a little bit different. But three players aren't sorting that out, are they? You know what I mean? That's the players that are out there at the moment, and we all take responsibility. Ultimately, I take responsibility for what we're doing, but players play the game. They play the game, and I just think we have got to have, and I've just said to players, look, you've got to make sure we keep our edge, we hold ourselves together, and then we get better. If we don't get better, then that's not. It's just not acceptable, clearly.
Daryl, clearly you've identified some of the issues that you've got there. What are you going to do differently now in the next few weeks? Because by putting your own boots on and showing them how it's done, have you got some different approaches to take? Because if you're training well in the week but it's not translating, can you do anything different to really make a difference?
Well, we just talked in there, so the players talking about themselves sorting themselves out. So that is, because ultimately, coach coaches a team, coaches a player. The player has self-determination then to go, this is what I'm going to do. So the big part of it is player ownership. That's what the boys are talking about in there, is more ownership on this is what I'm going to do to get myself back where I need to be. If you look at our training programme before we play on Friday, take a punt at how much time we're on the field. So that is not going to do it. We've had a good training week this week where it looks pretty good, but then your preparation and your headspace going out there that's what it comes down to, I think. And then we've got another week off, so we clearly have to win a game. I thought today was where we needed to win the game. Obviously, we've got 7 games left. We've got an opportunity. We're still in the 6. Our early season form gave us that opportunity, but you're not going to do anything if you're losing games consistently, aren't we, at the moment?
You're not in a crisis at the moment then? There's no crisis at the moment within the team?
Well, we're losing games. I mean, what's the crisis?
Well, visually you can see some of the players shouting at each other on the pitch there.
I mean, that happens in most teams, doesn't it? I wouldn't say it's a crisis. I'd say we're in a situation where we have to turn it around pretty quick. The crisis is you don't make the 8, isn't it? I mean, this is it's a long game. It's in the 6. Sorry, you've got to be in the 6, and at the moment our form line is suggesting something has to change pretty quickly, or you're not going to do that.